Remember when you were a kid and you thought making six figures meant you'd basically won at life? Like you'd have the nice house, the fancy car, vacations whenever you wanted, and you'd definitely be setting aside money for retirement without even thinking about it? Yeah, so did I. And then I hit $100,000 in income last year, and you know what happened? I looked at my bank account and thought, wait, where did it all go? I wasn't living some crazy lifestyle. I wasn't buying designer clothes or eating out every night. I was just living. And somehow, that six figure salary that was supposed to change everything, it felt almost normal. And that's when I realized something was seriously wrong with how we think about money in America. My name is Bihari, and I spend way too much time thinking about why the financial goalpost keeps moving further away. If you're someone who's been working your butt off to reach that magical $100,000 milestone, only to realize it doesn't feel like the achievement you thought it would be, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because today, we're going to break down exactly why $100,000 isn't what it used to be, how much you actually need to earn to live the lifestyle that $100,000 used to provide, and most importantly, what you should be focusing on instead of just chasing bigger numbers. Here's the thing. We're all playing a financial game where the rules change, but nobody told us. When our parents were entering the workforce in the 1980s and 1990s, making $100,000 a year put you in the top 5% of earners. You were legitimately wealthy. You could buy a nice house in pretty much any city in America, save for retirement, put your kids through college, and still have money left over for vacations and hobbies. But in 2025, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, roughly 18% of American households earn over $100,000. That's not exclusive anymore. That's not even upper class in most major cities. In places like San Francisco, New York, or Seattle, $100,000 is closer to the median income for professionals. And here's what really gets me. Here's what most people don't realize. If you made $100,000 in 1990 to have the same purchasing power today, you'd need to make about $238,000. Let me say that again. To live the same lifestyle that $100,000 provided in 1990, you need to earn nearly $250,000 today. That's not an exaggeration. That's inflation. And it's completely changed the game. Look, I'm going to show you some numbers that are probably going to frustrate you, but stick with me because understanding this is crucial. Let's break down what happens to a $100,000 salary in a place like, say, Austin, Texas, which isn't even one of the most expensive cities, but it's gotten crazy expensive in the last few years. You earn $100,000 gross. After federal taxes, state taxes where applicable, Social Security, and Medicare, you're looking at roughly $72,000 take home. Some of you might be thinking, that's still great, and let's keep going. The median rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Austin is now about $1,600 a month. That's $19,200 a year. If you want a two-bedroom because, I don't know, you have a partner or need a home office, you're looking at $2,200 a month minimum, so $26,400 annually. Let's say you're smart and you keep your housing costs to about 30% of your take-home pay, so you get the one bedroom for $1,600. You've got $52,800 left. Now, if you're doing the responsible thing and saving 15% for retirement, which is what every financial advisor says you should do, that's another $15,000 going into your 401k. You're down to $37,800. Car payment and insurance. The average new car payment in America is now $739 a month according to Edmunds, and insurance averages another $2,150 a year. Even if you bought a used car and your payment is only $400 a month, with insurance you're spending about $7,000 a year. Now you got $30,800. Food? The USDA estimates that a moderate cost food plan for one person is about $350 a month. So $4,200 a year, down to $26,600. Utilities, phone, internet, another $250 a month easily. So $3,000 a year. You're at $23,600. Health insurance premiums that aren't covered by your employer, deductibles, co-pays. Let's say $2,500 annually if you're healthy and lucky. $21,100 left. Student loan payments. The average monthly payment is $503 according to the Education Data Initiative. That's another $6,036 a year. Now you're at $15,064. And we haven't even talked about gas for your car. $150 per month equals $1,800 per year. Clothes, any kind of entertainment or social life, dating if you're single, gym membership, unexpected expenses like car repairs or medical bills, saving for a house down payment, actually enjoying your life. This is where it gets really interesting. You're making six figures, you're being financially responsible, and you have roughly $13,000 a year, about $1,100 a month for everything else in your life. That's not wealthy. That's not even comfortable. That's just getting by. Now you might be thinking, okay, Bihari, but I don't live in Austin. I live somewhere cheaper. And sure, maybe you do. But here's the psychological trap that nobody talks about. We've been conditioned our entire lives to see $100,000 as this finish line. It's the number that means you made it. It's what separates the successful from the struggling. So when you finally hit it, and look, hitting $100,000 is an achievement. I'm not taking that away from anyone, but when you hit it and realize your life doesn't look like you thought it would, you feel like you failed somehow, like you're doing something wrong. You see other people on social media living these amazing lives, going on trips, buying homes, and you think, I make six figures. Why can't I do that? And the answer is, most of them either A, have dual incomes. Two $100,000 earners is very different from one. B, got help from family. Down payment gifts are incredibly common. C, are in debt up to their eyeballs. D, actually earn significantly more than $100,000 but don't talk about it. Here's what most people don't realize. The lifestyle that we associate with making $100,000 isn't actually achievable on $100,000 anymore. We're chasing an outdated dream. Let's talk about geography for a second because this is crucial. If you're making $100,000 in San Francisco, according to MIT's living wage calculator, you need to earn at least $127,000 just to cover basic expenses for a single adult. So you're actually $27,000 short of a living wage. In New York City, you need about $138,000 for basic necessities as a single person. Even in somewhere like Denver, which people think of as more affordable, you need about $85,000 just for basics. Here's the crazy part. There are only a handful of places in America where $100,000 is actually a strong salary anymore. Places like Memphis, Tennessee, or Wichita, Kansas, where the cost of living is significantly below the national average. But here's the trap. Those cities typically don't have as many high-paying job opportunities. So you can make $100,000 go further in Memphis, but it's harder to find a job paying $100,000 in Memphis. According to a smart asset analysis, when you adjust for cost of living and local taxes, a $100,000 salary in San Francisco has the same purchasing power as making $38,000 in Memphis. Read that again. Your six-figure salary in a major tech hub is financially equivalent to making $38,000 in a lower cost area. That should make you angry. It makes me angry. Look, we can't talk about why $100,000 doesn't go as far without talking about housing, because housing is the single biggest reason why six figures feels like nothing anymore. In 1990, the median home price in America was $123,000. The median household income was about $29,000. So the median home cost about 4.2 times the median income. Today, the median home price is roughly $420,000. The median household income is about $75,000. That's 5.6 times the median income, but it gets worse. In cities where high-paying jobs actually exist, homes aren't $420,000. In Seattle, the median home is $825,000. In San Jose, it's over $1.4 million. In Austin, it jumped to $625,000. If you're making $100,000 and you want to buy a home in a city with good job opportunities, you need a down payment of $85,000 to $125,000 just to put 20% down and avoid PMI. And to save that while paying $2,000 plus in rent, that takes years. Even if you manage to save it, your mortgage payment on a $600,000 home with 20% down at current interest rates is about $3,800 a month, including taxes and insurance. On a $100,000 salary, that's more than half your take-home pay going to housing. This is why so many high earners feel broke. The math literally doesn't work anymore. Here's where I'm going to challenge you to completely reframe how you think about money. Stop obsessing over hitting $100,000. Stop thinking of it as the goal, because the real question isn't how do I make six figures? The real question is how do I build a life where I have financial freedom? And those are two completely different things. Financial freedom isn't about the number in your salary. It's about the gap between what you earn and what you spend. It's about flexibility. It's about options. I know people making $85,000 who have more financial freedom than people making $175,000 because they made different choices about where to live, what to spend money on, and how to structure their lives. Here's what you should actually be focusing on. 1. Your savings rate, not your salary. Someone making $80,000 and saving $20,000 a year. 25% savings rate is in a better financial position than someone making $150,000 and saving $15,000 a year. 10% savings rate. Every percentage point you increase your savings rate dramatically accelerates your path to financial independence. If you save 10% of your income, you need to work for 51 years to retire. If you save 25%, you need to work for 32 years. Save 50%, you can retire in 17 years. That's the math that actually matters. 2. Total compensation, not just base salary. This is huge and most people don't think about it. A $100,000 salary with no benefits is way worse than a $90,000 salary with full health insurance coverage worth $10,000 to $15,000. 401k match, if they match 5%, that's $4,500. Stock options or equity professional development stipends. Remote work flexibility saves commute costs. When you factor in total compensation, that $90,000 job might actually be worth $110,000 to $115,000. 3. Your cost of living relative to your income. This is the big one. You have 3 levers to pull. Increase your income, decrease your expenses, move to a place where your income goes further. Most people only focus on the first one, but the second and third can be just as powerful, sometimes more so. If you're making $100,000 in San Francisco and spending $80,000 a year to live versus making $85,000 in Raleigh and spending $50,000 a year to live, you're actually saving $15,000 more per year in Raleigh. Over 10 years, that's $150,000 in additional wealth, not counting investment returns. Okay, so what do you actually do with this information? First, stop feeling bad about making $100,000 and not feeling rich. You're not crazy. The economics of daily life have changed dramatically, and nobody adjusted our expectations to match reality. Second, run your own numbers. Calculate your actual take-home pay after taxes. Track your spending for 3 months. Figure out your real savings rate. Most people have no idea where their money actually goes. Third, optimize for financial freedom, not status. That might mean living with roommates longer than you thought you would, driving a paid-off used car instead of leasing something new, living in a less trendy neighborhood, staying in a lower cost of living city even if you could get a bigger number elsewhere, saying no to lifestyle inflation every time you get a raise. Fourth, think in terms of decades, not years. The decisions you make at 25 or 30 about your savings rate compound dramatically by the time you're 40 or 50. A 30-year-old who saves an extra $500 a month has an additional $575,000 by age 60, assuming 7% returns. Fifth, and this is important, negotiate aggressively for your salary. If $100,000 isn't what it used to be, then you need to be making $130,000 or $150,000 or more to have the lifestyle you want. Companies have adjusted their salary bands upward. Make sure you're at the top of yours. And finally, consider alternative paths. Maybe the answer isn't climbing the corporate ladder to get to $150,000. Maybe it's starting a side business. Maybe it's investing in skills that let you work remotely and move somewhere affordable. Maybe it's partnering with someone and combining income strategically. Look, I'm going to level with you. This video might be depressing. Understanding that $100,000 isn't what you thought it was kind of sucks. I get it. But here's why this information is actually empowering. Once you understand the real game you're playing, you can make better decisions. You can stop thinking, I must be bad with money, and start thinking, the system has changed and I need to adapt. You can stop comparing yourself to an outdated standard and start building a financial life that actually works for the economic reality of 2025. You can stop feeling like you failed for not achieving some 1990s dream and start creating your own definition of financial success. Because here's the truth, $100,000 isn't impressive anymore. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because the entire economic landscape has shifted. Productivity has increased. Corporate profits have soared. The stock market has grown. But wages for most workers haven't kept pace. And the cost of the big three, housing, healthcare, and education, has absolutely exploded. This isn't a personal failing. This is a systemic issue. But that doesn't mean you're powerless. It means you need to be smarter, more strategic, and more intentional about how you build wealth. The six-figure salary was the American dream milestone for decades, but dreams have to evolve when reality changes. Your new goal shouldn't be hitting $100,000, it should be hitting $100,000 in savings, or building $100,000 in investment accounts, or creating $100,000 in annual passive income, or reaching a point where you've saved $100,000 more than you think you need. Those are the numbers that actually change your life now. Stop chasing the salary milestone that made sense for your parents' generation. Start building the financial foundation that makes sense for yours. If this video changed how you think about your career and financial goals, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more honest conversations about money that nobody else is having. And drop a comment telling me, where are you in your financial journey and what surprised you most about this video? I'll see you in the next one.